Eagles to win the NFC East, giving them -145 odds. The defending champs are also favorites to win the conference at -300, and favorites to repeat Super Bowl champs at +650. Andrew, will the Eagles be the first team to repeat as NFC East champs in 20 years? Did that feel kind of like... Did that feel like your wife mad at you or your mom or that kind of thing? Everyone calls you Hawk?
I didn't think you were talking to me.
You want me to be honest, right? Really, I was very anchor man right there because we're in a new studio. There's a lot of cameras. We were walking and talking, and I'm like, all right, I don't want to hit that camera. Let me just stick to the script. And it said Andrew, so that's why I won't be so stiff moving forward.
That's all right. So I'm going to go with Hawk.
Tell me.
Hawk's going to answer this question. Okay. The Eagles will repeat.
Andrew?
The NFC East, they were going to repeat because they're the most talented team. Now, I understand it's been a 20-year streak, but I don't believe in mojo. I don't believe in that it's just some mythical thing that can never happen. We talked about Jalen Hurts earlier in this show because of all the talent that this football team has. That talent is still there. And health dependent, they are a better football team than the rest of their opponents in the division. So I do not see a world where that falls off and all of a sudden the Commanders are better than the Eagles.
Andrew, let Mike tell you why you're
wrong. All right, Michael.
I don't call any of you by your real names now that I think about it, but keep going.
Michael's definitely my mother there. So look, Jayden Daniels to me is on the precipice of being a superstar. We believe in Cliff Kingsbury as a great quarterback developer. And when you look at going back to Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, quarterbacks take a big leap from year one to year two because they're not dealing with the combine. They're in their buildings every day. And then you look up front. I'm a huge believer of show me a good offensive line, I'll show you good offense. Laramie Tunsil at left tackle, Josh Carnley at right tackle, and then go get Deebo Samuel for those long handoffs, behind the line of scrimmage, jet sweeps. So to me, Philadelphia is a great team. I think all those players they lost on defense from Joshua Milton Williams, Brandon Graham, Darius Slay, they can replace those players. But I think Washington got better. I think Philadelphia is going to get younger. And I know the history says they won't repeat, but I think this is much more about Jayden Daniels being the next superstar of our sport than it is anything else.
Yeah, listen, I've seen Jayden play since he was 17, and I still couldn't have imagined his rookie season being as spectacular as it was. But I'm going to say the Philadelphia Eagles repeat. I know you lose Kellen Moore as a coordinator, but what they did was smart. We're going to elevate someone who's already been in the building, who understands how Jalen Hurts likes the plays to be called, understands the flow of what makes this defense go. And then you look at what they were able to do defensively, where you add Jahad Campbell, who I thought was a huge draft pick. I don't understand how all of these very good defensive players keep falling to Howie Roseman in places in the first round you wouldn't expect them to be. I do believe replacing C.J. Gardner-Johnson and also Darius Slay in the secondary, those are going to be huge things for this team, right? We saw Quinyon Mitchell become one of the top 10 cornerbacks in all of football. We saw what Cooper DeJean was able to do at the slot position, but replacing those guys outside and obviously in the middle of the field is going to be huge. But offensively, man, this team has everything that you need. You have a quarterback who I believe has more confidence coming into this year than he has any other year. You have two wide receivers and one in A.J. Brown who says he's more motivated to be better than he was last year because he didn't have the type of Super Bowl production that he wanted. And Saquon Barkley, the best running back in all of the game. That consistency that they have on the roster offensively.
You think Saquon misses the Giants?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
He's really sad about it.
Yeah, I agree with everything Ryan said. I think when you look at this offense for Jalen Hurts, and he's going on his 5th offensive coordinator. But what they've said this time is we're not going to get an OC to help figure out the offense we want to run. We're going to be offensive coordinator immune. Jalen Hurts knows what he likes. These receiving courts now understand what it takes to win the big game. So I think you're actually going to probably see the best production from this offense and Jalen Hurts because there's going to be a comfort level that he has not had. And if he plays at that level, if the Eagles get better, there is no way, as great as the Jayden Daniels is and as good as the Commanders have become and have improved, if the Eagles get better, they still can't support.
And the other thing is this, too, though. I don't want to just poo-poo Mike T's thought about Jayden Daniels. He has an opportunity to be an absolute star
for sure.
Amongst the names of the Jacksons and the Allens and the Mahomes and the Burrow, and he could take that step this year.
Absolutely. leave it there. By the way, how did we get back in the liquor store cooler? We were doing well for a while, and then RC
Because it
said,
got hot.
and then RC said
No,
it's hot,
man.
and now
Yeah, it
no.
felt
I
nasty
can't
here.
operate in these conditions.
Man, folks was finna be musty, like
Yeah,
for real.
calling each other.
Nothing but smiles in Philadelphia. You see them, I'm like, what, does yours look anything like this, RC?
No, mine definitely didn't have wings either.
I don't, maybe not that specifically, but well, a lot of diamonds. That's Jalen Hurts' ring. His is still in the box, but it brings us to the conversation. Has Jalen Hurts solidified himself as one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL? Cam Newton, not so sure. Here's what he said on his podcast.
It's hard for me to grade Jalen Hurts with the metrics that with the talent that he has around him. Hurts does not have to play elite for the Philadelphia Eagles to win. We're not asking you to win the game. We're just asking you not to lose it. But when you ask that question, are we winning because of you, solely because of you? Or is it the resources around you? So game changer, game manager, those are the things that you have to ask yourself. And those are the metrics that I'm going off of.
So we're doing this again. So Cam had that comparison made a year ago. And Mikey, I can see that you're shaking your head. I understand what he's trying to say, which is, and I do not mean this to disrespect Jalen Hurts, who was brilliant, who deserved to be the MVP of the Super Bowl, who, yes, has gone head-to-head against, or toe-to-toe against Patrick Mahomes in Super Bowls twice and been the better player on the field in both of those games. All those things are true. However, if you're going to break it down to, there are players that you say to them, just go out there and win this for us, kid. And then there were others who you find yourself in a situation, if you were to flip-flop places with some of the other top quarterbacks in the NFL, it might look different. I'm not saying I agree with what Cam is saying. I'm saying I understand it.
Yeah, and I would push back because, bottom line, he got it done, and the rest of those players were projecting. And again, it bears repeat. He has gotten a lot better at what the whole world, myself included, said he couldn't do, be accurate from the pocket. There is an overwhelming amount of data. He went from 52% to 68%. And Green, to your point, how about this for the Super Bowl? In the two games combined, 44-60, 73% completion, 525 yards for an average of 8.8 yards. And RC mentioned this last hour. One of Cam Newton's superpowers is physicality. He also rushed for 142 yards. So to me, yeah, Greedy, could you pop in Justin Herbert amongst others and say, hey, they would have won? We'll never know. But my point is, when you turn a weakness into a strength, you're talking about somebody that loves football, who is a battlefield commander and has earned all the respect in the world.
I think my thing would be this, right? When we look at Joe Burrow, who many of us consider a top 3 quarterback in this league, he's the Heisman Trophy winner. The two wide receivers that he threw to in college are going to go down as two of the best wide receivers to ever play football, right? Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. Now you go to Cincinnati and he has T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, and no one docks him for having this sort of talent around him. Patrick Mahomes goes to Kansas City, and you have Travis Kelce, the greatest pass-catching tight end of all time, and Andy Reid, one of the greatest coaches of all time, and quarterback whisperers, and nobody says Patrick Mahomes isn't what he is because of the things around him. Why is it that for Jalen Hurts? Is it that we can't forget that he was once fired at Alabama? Is it that we can't forget what it looked like when he became the quarterback, or how it felt when they went to Tampa Bay in the wild card round in his first year as the full-time starter? Why don't we forgive people? Why don't we give people grace? And when they start to grow, when they give you new information, say, with the new information I now have a new opinion. The man has been second in MVP voting. He's been an All-Pro. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler. He's a 2-time NFC champion. He's a Super Bowl MVP. And not one of those Super Bowl MVPs where we go, shoot, I really don't know who we should have gave it to. Right? He's a Super Bowl MVP that outdued Patrick Mahomes 2 times. Yeah. All the man has done in 5 years is win. Going to the playoffs 4 years. Going to the Super Bowl 2 years. If you're putting people in front of him, just tell me why. And if he's 11, 12, 13, or 14, give me that guy, because that guy wins games.
It's simple as this. You get to the NFL, your job is to get better. Every year improve, especially as a quarterback. There is something to be said for a guy who plays his best in the biggest moments. So can you replace him with another quarterback and then still perform against one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history under the brightest lights? No, you can't. That's what we debate with a lot of these quarterbacks with so much talent. So that alone puts him up in that more closer to the top 5 than the top 10. He's able to lead. He's able to navigate the headlines, the relationship issues we talked about throughout the season. And to your point, no one expects this out of a second-round pick. They were talking about changing his position coming into the NFL. That means something. He's gotten better year over year, and he should be respected.
And what we can't do, too, is use Patrick Mahomes for one metric in order to downgrade or show why certain quarterbacks aren't certain things and then not use it inversely, right? The reason we talk about Lamar Jackson or Lamar Jackson gets criticism is because he hasn't played his best football with Patrick Mahomes standing on the other sideline against Steve Spagnuolo's defense. You know who has twice? Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has looked across the sideline. He's seen 15. He's seen one of the greatest big-time defense coordinators in the history of football, and he's outplayed them. He hasn't blinked, and to me, that matters.
There's no question it matters. Jalen Hurts deserves all the credit in the entire world, just because I understand the point Cam Newton is trying to make, and I think it's a little more nuanced than people might be receiving it. It doesn't mean I agree with it. I have to leave it there. We've got the first take there coming up next. This crew is getting ready to go over there. They're talking about the Cowboys.
Chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh YouTube của mình nhé. Ngày hôm nay mình sẽ tiếp tục đi tô mò để cho các bạn có những phút giây thư giãn khi xem video của mình. Và để làm được video này mình cần chuẩn bị những dụng cụ như sau. Đương nhiên sẽ không thể thiếu được, đây là điện thoại để quay lại quá trình mình thao tác tay. Và đây là bút sáp mỏ mình dùng để tô mỏ. Và đây là những sản phẩm được mình chuẩn bị sẵn để mình dùng để tô mỏ. Bây giờ mời các bạn cùng theo dõi quá trình mình tô mò, và các bạn hãy ấn like và đăng ký kênh để ủng hộ mình nhé. Cảm ơn các bạn rất là nhiều.
Không có thể bé táo à? Anh em là 10 tối. Tắm trắng đi. Quân đâu? Quân. Khi em cắn cửa rồi, nước qua chắc vào tai thế, kêu